Fresh naan is cooked, topped with butter, onions, pepper, broccoli and cheese, and cooked on a tawa or griddle for a quick butter chicken naan pizza fix. Hi everyone, welcome back to Cravings Food Adventures. I'm Karen Ahmed. This recipe today is complete nonsense. Yes, we're going to be making a butter chicken naan bread pizza. If you have leftover butter chicken or chicken tikka, you can make this really easy naan bread dough and you can cook it on a frying pan. It's so easy. Before I go any further with this recipe, do make sure you subscribe to my channel and make sure to ring that bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Now, let's get cooking. I'm going to start with the naan as it needs some time to rise. I have 2 1/4 teaspoon of dry yeast here and I'm going to soak it in a half cup of warm water. I'm going to feed this with a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar and I'm going to allow this to sit for 10 minutes to get frothy. The sugar gives the yeast the oxygen that it needs. I have 2 1/2 cups of flour here and I'm just going to sift it. Next, I'm going to add a half cup of yogurt. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt or salt to taste. And let's get all of that yeast mixture in. Add a little bit of water and start to mix it together. This is now coming together really well, so I'm going to start to knead this with my hands. Add 2 tablespoons of oil and keep kneading till it's nice and supple. I'm now just going to allow this to rise in a warm place for about 30 to 60 minutes. This has now doubled in size and when you poke the dough, it should bounce back. I'm going to sprinkle this with flour and just lightly knead it again. This will easily make 2 pizzas, so I'm just going to cut the dough in half. To roll it out, I'm going to add a little bit of flour to my board, but I'm also going to add a little bit of semolina. I'm going to shape this into a disc and then I'm going to roll until this is about a ½ centimeter in thickness. I'm just going to roughly crimp the edges to prevent the gravy from leaking over. I love sesame seeds or til in my naan, so I'm just going to sprinkle the naan on the outside of the circle. Because this is called a tawa naan, it can be made on a tawa, a pan or a griddle. Instead of my traditional tawa, I'm using a large frying pan as I want to put a lid on it later. Add some butter to the base and brush it to cover the pan. I'm going to partially cook the naan first. In this goes on one side and I'm just going to allow this to cook for a few minutes till it's lightly brown. Once it's slightly brown on one side, you can just flip it over like I'm doing using 2 spatulas. I'm going to add a bit more butter. Flip this back over. Now I'm ready to add the butter chicken, but before that, I'm going to add a few pieces of onion under the naan. This will create some space between the pan and the base so it doesn't burn. And now cover it with the butter chicken. Make sure that this butter chicken has been warmed up. For this recipe, I'm presuming you have some leftover butter chicken, but you could also add leftover chicken tikka masala or even leftover keema. I will leave a link for my butter chicken recipe at the end of this video if you want to try it for yourself. I'm going to tuck in a 1/4 cup each of onions, green pepper, and broccoli florets. And finally, I'm going to cover this with a 1/4 to a 1/2 cup of mozzarella, and I'm going to cover this with a glass lid. If you like, you can easily bake this in the oven as well. This cheese should melt in about 5 to 7 minutes, especially if the butter chicken was already hot. Slice it up and this is ready to eat. Thank you so much for joining me on Cravings Food Adventures. I hope you enjoyed this delicious recipe for butter chicken naan bread pizza. It's a really nice spin-off from the regular butter chicken and naan, and put it together with some cheese and you have a completely new dish that the kids will love. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, guys. If you do love my videos, make sure to share them with your family and friends so they can enjoy them as well. Also, be sure to follow me behind the scenes on all of my social channels. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Until I see you next time, do take care. Bye.